Welcome back to Male Choices. If you like what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell.
Want to deal with women anymore. They're just going to give up. My question is, what don't you want to deal with? Women who have their own interests and goals. Women who want to work and be fulfilled. Women who want to choose whether or not to become a mother. Women who have thoughts and opinions about big issues and little issues. And then when he said something that women are going to have to deal with is the fact that men won't want them. And at the end, when he says this is a real issue that women are going to have to deal with as their options dwindle. Our options for men who want to keep us in traditional roles, hard pass.
So all of those things that you just named, man isn't typically bothered by any of those things. Yes, there are still men who are looking for a more traditional woman who, yes, chooses to be in those responsibilities of cooking and cleaning and overall taking care of the house and the kids. But he wants a woman that's happy and willing to do those things. But I feel like a lot of men don't actually want a woman like that. He wants a woman that has all the qualities you just named. But I mean, if she has a career, yeah, he expects her to contribute to the bills. He's not intimidated by her accomplishments or her moving up in her career. Does he expect constant nagging, constantly being emasculated for no reason because he might fall a little short or behind her? No. Unfortunately, a lot of women think men just don't want an independent woman, which couldn't be further from the truth. He just wants a woman that's great to be around and has a wonderful personality and is willing to contribute in the relationship. Not a woman that will sit back, work, but not contribute to bills, refuse to cook and clean, and he just has to somehow pick up all the work.
It's mind-blowing how some women just don't get it. Men want a partner, not a burden. A relationship isn't about finding someone to cater to your every need or desire. It's about working together, side by side. Men aren't asking for the world. They're asking for peace, support, and someone who's ready to walk through life with them, not weigh them down with endless complaints about basic adult responsibilities. What's so hard to understand about that? Instead, some women think their role is to nitpick every little thing or expect their partner to handle every challenge without contributing anything themselves. Complaining about everyday tasks like cooking, cleaning, or working, things every adult should be doing, just shows a lack of maturity. Men want someone who pulls their weight, not someone who acts like basic responsibilities are optional or something to moan about. The reality is, too many women have fallen into this mindset that being in a relationship means getting taken care of without giving anything back. And that's exactly where the problem lies. Men are looking for a partner who brings value, whether it's emotional support, peace, or simply not bringing constant drama into their lives. At the end of the day, men aren't asking for perfection. They're asking for a true partnership. If some women can't handle the basics of being an adult without constantly complaining or expecting to be catered to, they're going to end up alone, wondering why no man sticks around. Men want peace, support, and a partner who understands that. Simple as that.
Being in long-term community with men usually means turning off a part of your brain.
So I'm being so fucking for real when I say this. If I'm not paying you for something and you're not paying me for something and neither one of us is required to be in the other's company, you will not see me in relation with a man. The reason I don't believe in non-transactional relationships with men is because men don't believe in non-transactional relationships. Most men only maintain relationships that they believe will benefit them in some way, shape, or form in the future. And that's not just women. That's literally how men are taught to engage with any kind of relationship. You'll often see a man in relation with people he absolutely fucking hates, but he needs to maintain that relationship, so he does. If you can't point to one really clear benefit that he gets out of being in relation to you, then you are the thing he's trying to get out of that relationship. And regardless of what he wants from you, whether it's to fuck you to make you do his work or to just make him feel better, he's only associating with you because he wants something. So please keep that in mind.
She's just projecting her insecurities, trying to cover up what's really going on. Women like that stick around in relationships only as long as the scales tip in their favor. The moment the balance shifts and they have to start giving more than they're getting, that's when they start looking for the next best opportunity. It's like they've always got one foot out the door, just waiting for things to stop being convenient or comfortable. You see this pattern too often. Everything's fine when they're getting the attention, validation, or material things they want, but as soon as those things slow down, or the man starts needing more from them, whether it's emotional support, effort, or just giving back what they've been receiving, they suddenly feel unhappy and unfulfilled. It's like they're always on the lookout for something better, never fully appreciating what they have. The moment the relationship becomes a true two-way street where both sides are expected to put in effort, they start seeking an exit strategy. It's unfortunate because relationships are supposed to be about give and take, not just taking. And when someone's constantly projecting their insecurities or playing the victim, it kills any chance for real growth in the relationship. Instead of working through the rough patches, they jump ship, leaving behind confusion and emotional wreckage. It's a cycle that keeps repeating, and unless that mindset changes, the pattern will stay the same, and nothing will ever improve.
You know what's the saddest truth about dating that I have experienced? Like this, when I think about this, it makes me want to quit dating altogether, but I ain't no quitter, so I'm not going to stop. But the saddest thing is that the best dating experience I've ever had, the best treatment I've ever gotten from men is when I don't like them. The men that I like, I barely answer my phone for you. Every time you talk to me, I kind of have a little bit of an attitude. Like, I don't want to stay up on the phone with you all night. I really just, I'm barely here. That's when they want you the most. That's when you get the most attention. That's when they pursue you the hardest. Like, it's an unfortunate truth. And it's hard because as fun as that is and as satisfying as it is to like give nothing and get everything returned, that's not the type of person that I naturally am. Like naturally, I want to be in love. I want to be all up in your face. I want to be consumed with love. I want to be so blinded I can't see nothing else. But as soon as I turn that lover girl mode on, you don't know how to act. They just can't handle it. They do not respond well to that. And the real key to still getting that treatment from them is to just solely focus on yourself, to center yourself completely. Don't think about anything that he wants. Don't think about what he needs. Just think about yourself and fill your whole life with you. But sometimes it be hard because I don't want to be thinking about myself. I want to think about you. I want to daydream. I want to build a future, baby.
Here we go again with something that should be blatantly obvious, but somehow still gets ignored. Women chasing after guys who couldn't care less. It's a pattern you can't miss, and it's happening constantly. The more a man shows he doesn't care, the more attention she throws his way, and you're left wondering, why do women keep running after guys who don't give them the time of day? Let's cut through the nonsense. The problem isn't the men, it's the women. We've all seen it before. A guy barely texts back, doesn't plan dates, and seems completely uninterested, yet she's out there jumping through hoops for him. And here's the crazy part. She knows he's not into her. But instead of moving on, she doubles down, convinced she can change him. This is where the game is lost. Women have created this dynamic themselves. They've built a system where the guy who couldn't care less suddenly becomes the most appealing. Why? Because they crave validation from the guy who isn't giving it to them. Instead of going for the man who treats them well, they focus on the one who's indifferent, hoping to win him over. And it gets even more ridiculous. Women say they want a guy who's attentive, emotionally available, and communicates well, but when that man shows up, he's ignored. Why? Because there's no thrill. They've been conditioned by social media and their own experiences to chase men who don't need them. And let's be real, this behavior is on women. You can't complain about getting ghosted or treated poorly when you're chasing after a man who's made it clear he's not interested. The dismissive guy, he's just living his life, not playing games. He's not invested, and yet that lack of effort is exactly what keeps women hooked. The truth is, women love the chase. It's about their ego. It's about validation. It's about proving they can get him even though he's shown he doesn't care. And when they finally get a tiny bit of attention, they think they've won. But it's temporary, because that same guy will go right back to doing his own thing. He's not going to magically become the perfect boyfriend they imagined. So whose fault is it when women end up in these situations? It's on them. They're choosing to chase after men who aren't interested instead of holding out for someone who is. They're wasting time trying to get attention from a guy who couldn't be more indifferent. It's time they start taking responsibility for their choices.
This is everything I learned after dating for 4 months in New York City. I want to start by saying that I dated all different types of men, all different types of ages. I don't discriminate and I don't have a certain type. I just give a man a chance if I feel like there might be a connection there, and I'm very quick to cut it off if I find out that I was wrong. So that said, let me break down exactly everything I learned after dating for 4 months in New York City. The first thing I learned is that these men will waste your time. So I learned to start asking very specific questions very early on so I could determine what type of man I was talking to. And if he gave me answers that I didn't like or I didn't align with, I was very quick to cut him off. The second thing I learned is that a lot of them will flex with the type of dates that they take you on, like they have money, but if you actually ask them for money, they can't give it to you because they don't have it. So I learned to not be impressed by any type of date, and obviously New York City is very different than Toronto, so a lot of the experiences that I had were new to me and I was impressed, but I realized that I had to act like I wasn't, like I had to act like it was normal for me. I'm not a good actress. I prefer to be authentic all the time, and so if I feel like a man is trying to impress me with a date and that's it, he doesn't really have anything else to offer me, then I am quick to cut him off, and that's what I ended up doing most of the time. The third thing I realized is to not get emotionally attached to any man, because one thing about New York men is they will be in love with you one day and they will ignore your entire existence the next. So at the first sign of inconsistency, I dropped them. I was able to do that easily because I did not get emotionally attached. Fourth thing I realized is that all of them have a roster whether they admit it or not. So if I have the slightest inclination that I am on a rotation, I drop the guy I'm talking to. That's why I've been single despite dating for 4 months, because none of these men are satisfied with one girl. But unfortunately, I haven't met one man, let alone two, that can satisfy me. So my roster is currently empty. And the last thing I learned is that they are focused on getting one thing and one thing only. Can you guess? Yeah, I'm sure you can. And if you say no to them, they flip a switch on you. So I kind of learned to gauge which guys I should be direct with when it came to whether or not I wanted to sleep with them, and which guys I would try to avoid being direct with and just go home and then not text them again. Because some situations got really messy really quickly. I won't go into detail about that, but basically they're gonna do all this, put on a show, spend money on you, take you out, whatever, so they could try to sleep with you. And if you say no, yeah, good luck. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay single.
Here we go again. Someone out here bragging about having dated all types of men, different ages, different backgrounds. And what does that really mean? High body count, plain and simple. And the craziest part? She's acting like this somehow adds to her value. But in reality, it's doing the exact opposite. It's just pushing her further away from what she claims she's looking for. When someone talks about dating all kinds of men and experiencing the whole buffet, it's not a flex. It just means she's been searching for something she's probably never going to find. At this point, it's not about genuine connection anymore. It's about keeping the game going. Let's be honest, the older you get, the harder it becomes to play that game. If you've been through that many different types and still haven't found something that sticks, it's time to face reality. She's not looking for love anymore. She's looking for a paycheck. Let's call it what it is, the sugar daddy search. If you're hopping from man to man and still not finding what you want, chances are you're now more focused on securing the bag than building a genuine relationship. It's no longer about compatibility or shared values. It's about lifestyle and convenience, and that's exactly why she's going to stay single forever. Women like her aren't fooling anyone. The older, established guys she's chasing. They're not looking for commitment either. They know the game better than she does. The only men still entertaining her are the ones who are just in it for a quick fling because they know she's been through the ringer. And here's what she doesn't realize. Her stock isn't what it used to be. Men aren't lining up for someone who's been in the dating scene this long, jumping from one guy to the next. The younger guys want younger women, and the older guys she's chasing know exactly what's up. They're not trying to play that long-term relationship game. It's ironic because these women talk about wanting a committed, long-lasting partnership, but their choices are exactly why they end up alone. You can't spend years treating relationships like a revolving door and then be surprised when no one's taking you seriously. The sad part? She's probably already picked out her future cat. You know the type. The woman who spent years chasing guys, thinking she was too good to settle down, only to end up alone with nothing to show for it but regrets. And while she's still out here talking about all the options she has, those options are getting slimmer by the day.